We live in a day and time where there are so many handguns out there that it's kind of ridiculous. More handguns available today than ever before by far, and there's such a variety of them, different designs, a lot of innovation coming out in handguns. And even the old traditional handguns are being remade. But a handgun, for me, is a tool that should never fail. It should never fail. I know there's a lot of times people say, oh, we'll send it back, or have, maybe 1,000 rounds put through it. But if I'm going to carry it, it should never, ever, ever fail. But beyond that, there's definitely some handguns that are just flat out terrible. Like, not only is there a potential to get a lemon, but you have less of a potential to get one that's not a lemon. Like, there's some terrible handguns being sold, and sorry, but not only are many of these lemons, but some of them are extremely, if not all of them are extremely popular right now. And I'm here to tell you, these guns are terrible. Now, I'm going to step on toes. I can promise you that almost everybody watching this is going to pick one of these and be like, what? What's that guy talking about? But I have my rationale behind it. And it's not just my opinion. Some of it is my opinion, but it's not just my opinion. A lot of this is also not just experience, just what the numbers say and what the data says about these guns and what everybody else is saying about them and what the lawsuits say, that kind of thing. So with that being said, again, I apologize in advance because I promise this list is going to offend almost everybody that watches it, but it just is what it is. Number 1, the new Walther PPK in 22LR. Now, this gun has incredibly disappointed me. As a matter of fact, the video I made about it, I said they owed me an apology. Because here's why. The Walther PPK has an incredible history of being one of the most desired concealed carry guns over the last several decades. Like over many, many, many decades, this has been the most desirable concealed carry gun. I mean, James Bond carried this gun in .380, but here's the problem with this particular gun. The Walther PPK in 22LR is made in Germany and should be awesome. That should be awesome. The Walther PPK in .380 is made in the United States, in Arkansas, and should not be nearly as awesome as the one made in Germany. But unfortunately, if you just hold those two guns up, the brand new PPK 22LR and the brand new PPK in .380 made in America, the one in America is beautiful. Its fit and finish is by far superior. Its presentation is by far superior. It's a more beautiful, you just look at it and you're like, that is clearly a better gun. But even if you didn't care what it looked like, the .380 has been flawless. Flawless. I own one. My brother owns one. His wife owns one. We just love the heck out of them. That 22LR is terrible. It's terrible. Constant stream of problems. I've not even met a person that owned one that liked it. Now, I'm not referring to the older Walther PPKs and 22LR made in Germany. I'm talking about the new one. The new one is just terrible. It's terrible. And especially when you're comparing, like, they both have the PPK name on them. Come on now. It's terrible. Definitely making the top 5 list of the worst handguns made right now. Number 2, the Fightlite Raider pistol. Now, this is the only handgun that's on this list that is like a rifle style pistol. But it has to be on this list because it's just terrible. What they've done is they essentially put a bird's head grip on an AR pistol. But the bolt is like a bending bolt. Like the bolt actually bends and it goes down. I mean, that thing should not be made. It just shouldn't be made. It's an interesting design. I like the idea. I had to go get one. I liked it so much. When I was at SHOT Show and I fired it, it ran flawlessly. But that thing was just terrible. And as I read everybody else's thoughts on it, felt like it was very similar. This thing jammed on me like nobody's business. Just a terrible terrible, terrible handgun. Number 3. This one's gonna hurt your feelings. Sorry in advance, the Sig P320. I mean, you know, my favorite handgun to carry, not necessarily the one I carry all the time, but definitely my favorite to carry. Every time I carry it, I'm like, I love this gun, is a Sig P250. But the Sig P320 is really the same gun, just with a striker fired trigger. And I jumped on it, like bam, had to get me one of those. But I got rid of it quick because first it had the drop issue, which you drop that gun, it's probably gonna fire depending on, you know, how it hits the ground. And then they fixed it. And now it's just going off in people's holsters a lot. So much so that there's lawsuits like crazy from police departments all around this country. But as for me, you definitely, you would never catch me carrying one of those guns. And even if somebody like had one sitting at a range on a table, I'd approach it cautiously. Like ain't no way you catch me with one of those. Number 4, the Ruger LCP2 in 22LR. This gun, I had a lot of high hopes on. So much high hopes. Love the idea of it. I mean, a 10-round, little tiny Ruger LCP2, which the LCP2 in 380, kind of like the PPK, was awesome. Awesome gun. But this thing is just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, you know, and I know a lot of you are like, well, mine works fine, you know, but it's probably like certain ammo you got to use. And then it still kind of works, but kind of doesn't. And then if you oil it up and put 1,000 rounds to it, then it'll work. Like, no, I'm just going to lead with what I started with. Like it just isn't, there's no way I trust that gun. I've owned 2 of them because I bought one with high hopes, total, just terrible gun. And then later on bought another one thinking, well, maybe it was a lemon. A few other people said theirs is good if you try this ammo or that ammo. And that gun was totally terrible. Like that handgun's one of the worst handguns being made right now. And finally, number 5. And this is going to step on a lot of toes too, but let me explain myself. That's the new Hi-Point YC9. Now, here's why. You know, I'm not dissing on Hi-Point at all. It's not because it's a Hi-Point. The original Hi-Point was fantastic. People love that gun. There was like kind of a weird cult following of it. People just adored that first 9mm Hi-Point. And when they made all these modifications, which was really just answering the public's call to improve the original C9, it just fell short. It just fell short, and it's got some issues that the first one did not have. Slight, but it feels like it should get better, not worse. And already, I mean, Hi-Point, come on, already you kind of had a bad reputation for the appearance of the gun, but that, you know, it is what it is. A lot of people, you know, kind of make fun of the way it looks, and if you ran out of bullets, you can use it as a brick and just chuck it at somebody, like, you know, but it was reliable and people loved them. And not so much anymore. Not so much. So there you go. There's what I believe to be the top 5 worst handguns you can get today. And again, I like I said before, I know a lot of you are like, whoa, what'd that guy just say about my favorite gun? But it's the truth. What I said was the truth. And I think deep down, you know it to be so. Any thoughts or insight on any of that, definitely put it below. I do want to take a moment and say that most people watch this channel, hey, they're not subscribers. Click that subscribe button. Greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel, hey, we take prayer requests. Never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, love guns.